All right, fantasy footballers and smash mall freaks of fantasy. Here's who we are. Welcome to the Smash Dell Fantasy Football Podcast. What we're doing today is we're talking about we've got 1 week until 1 week. What am I saying? We've got 2 days. We've got 2 days until the auction draft in the Good, Bad, and Ugly Dynasty Fantasy Football League. And what we're talking about now is the first round will be an auction draft. So how does that work? Well, as you know, the first round in our league is auction, which means that each team will have the opportunity to nominate any player that they choose to throw out there with an opening bid. And then the bidding will continue to go on until the highest bidder takes the player. That team is then out of the bidding as they have one player, and one player only is allowed with that situation. So goes to the next team, and they can throw out a player. Next team in the draft list. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that draft list real quickly here. So let's go ahead and look at this. By the way, not all teams have a slot pick, what we call as a slot pick, a first rounder or an auction draft, round one pick. And so what we've done is gone ahead and put the order up there for the draft. And I'm going to go ahead and share that for you YouTubers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we looks like here we got Ragnar's Revenge is the first one on the list at 101, Crazy Horse at 102, Boomer Nation at 103, Crazy Horse again at 104, 105 Laces Out, 106 Fall Guy, 107 Purple, 108 Bridesmaids, 109 Laces Out again, and 110 Laces Out. So he has 3 picks in the first round. 111 is Smash, 112 is Meat Curtain. So between Laces Out and Crazy Horse, they have 5 of the 12 picks in the first round. Half Chub does not have a pick. He traded that pick to Laces Out. Skoll does not have one. He traded his pick to Laces Out as well, picking up some players last year to fortify the roster. And Crazy Horse picked up his extra pick because he traded from Just Win Baby, who did some interesting maneuverings with his squad late last year. Actually, very impressed with what he did with his squad, working on it to make it more competitive. So everybody in this league is now competitive. But getting back to that first round, it is once again a auction first round. So you have your chance of winning any player. Keep in mind, this is real dollars. So you bet 50, 60, 80, 100 noodles on a player. You indeed are ponying up with that real money. So keep in mind that the auction draft money that you spend is in addition to the $125 entry fee. So let's say you spend $200 in the auction draft, you now owe $325 to the kitty. So you'd better score big in the next couple of years, at least third, in order to justify that kind of spending. But as we all know, we don't use that mentality. There are some who like to buy the franchise, others who will let the cards fall where they may, and still end up competing. So as we said before, there's 3 actual rounds. Actually, there's 4 rounds. There's 4 rounds. 48 players will be selected, and there's not 48 players in the draft that are draftable. So we're going to make a move to go 3 rounds next year, which is really the usual. 3 or 4 is something that we came up with that actually does not make sense, especially when you've been established for a few years and you're franchises are fairly talented, you're not going to be replacing 4 or 5 guys on your roster each and every year. Can you choose to do so? Yes. Um, Once the draft is over, then you can choose to go ahead and sign free agents. Free agents are by bid process, blind bid process. And what does that mean? Simply means that um, anytime you want to go ahead and place a bid on a player and drop a player, you go ahead and put a dollar figure. So if you want to bid $2, you bid $2. And then what happens is that runs, I think, Wednesday morning, and it's automatically awards the player to the highest bidder, and you of course get that guy or you don't. Those funds now, those free agency acquisition budget or FAB, those FAB dollars are coming from a $100 um, free agency budget, which they're pretend dollars. They're not real dollars. And so you've got $100 to spend on that for the year. And I don't think that has changed. Ads drops. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to go ahead and go in here and try to do an ad drop, and it will tell me how much I have left. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Bruce Anderson out of North Dakota State. And I have a max bid of $100. So indeed, $100 is the going rate for the FAB dollars for free agency acquisition, as it were. And so that is fake money, but again, the auction is real dollars and the entry fee of 125 is real dollars. Now, what we're going to do this year is we're going to go ahead and make sure that everybody is indeed paid up with at least the league fee, or we're going to get houndy because nobody likes to hound people for their payments. And so people, you do have time now. It's May. So June, July, August, September. You have 4 months to save up that 125. So start pigeonholing 10, $20 a month, a week, whatever you can do to go ahead and make that happen. So here we are, 2 days out. What'll happen is once that auction draft is over, it starts Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It'll probably take an hour roughly or so, maybe not even that. But after that's over, then what'll happen is Mort the Maximus will go ahead and populate those players onto rosters, and then open up the draft on Friday, which will be an extended online draft. Now, what does that mean? An extended online draft simply means that you're not on the clock for 3 or 5 minutes to make your pick. You simply will choose your player when you're on the clock, and we'd like to see him picked, relatively quickly, like hopefully within a few hours. But the mandatory pick time is 24 hours, and if you don't get them picked, you'll probably get some heat. But again, there's extenuating circumstances, so not everybody can be there, and they are maybe out doing duty to their country and other things. So just make us aware of what's going on, because that Friday that it starts, people are wanting to keep the draft going through the weekend and keep it going because we want to get this wrapped up. Hopefully, within no more than a week. So if you do have to go out of town, go ahead and make sure that you can make your picks, or else tell us where you're at and what's going on if you can't make it, so that we aren't sitting there checking every 10 minutes to see if so and so is picked when indeed they're out of town and have no intention of picking. So that's kind of the status for the auction round and the beginning of the season, which is again 4 months away. So this little flurry of activity with the NFL draft, followed by the um, fantasy football rookie drafts, is kind of fun, and a little flurry of activity to get us kind of juiced up. Then we go ahead and kind of put things away for a few months, do some checking, different things like that. There'll probably be some some trades made, but overall, basically it kind of tones down until at least training camp in July, and then into August, which again, they're having preseason games, which I think 4 or 3 now instead of 4, but I would probably do 1 or 2. It didn't look like we suffered too much last year because of the uh, non-existent preseason. But that's really all we have for today, folks. We're going to go ahead and get a guest on here for the next podcast. Probably going to dial up Mortimus Maximus of the Crazy Horse franchise, or another unsuspecting owner. I haven't had Skoll on, so we might look at Skoll and get his thoughts on some things. But we're looking forward to kind of switching it up this year and kind of having 1, maybe 2 owners on any given podcast, so that we can go ahead and get their input and keep things interesting. But that's the recap on how the auction draft will work, followed by the non-snake rounds 2, 3, and 4 of the rookie draft on Friday. And then, of course, it is Mother's Day, not Mother's Day. That was already last weekend, but opening fishing. So again, if you want to use the draft room, you got to use the browser or on a computer or laptop or something. Don't use the app because it does not work. So if you need to tell somebody who your pick is, you can go ahead and do that, and perhaps they can make the pick. You can always reach out to me, 701-318-0089. If anybody needs to text me or call me about any issues, happy to pretend to listen, and things of that nature. So go ahead and dial me up, and I am here for you. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop that share, because that's really about it tonight, folks. Not something real long or engaging, just kind of a rundown on the do's and don'ts and what's going to happen on draft night and the following draft day. And so hope you're caught up. Take care, and skinny fingers.